Okay, we're back in the next tab on our spreadsheet, the one down here, the second one that says z-scores. So let's calculate some z-scores. Well, to calculate a z-score, remember we need a mean and a standard deviation of the data set for which we are calculating the z-scores. So I've set the spreadsheet up this way, and I'm going to click in H2, and again I'm going to type average, and this is going to be A2 colon A41, and that's going to give us our average value, our mean value of all the scores in the A column. We don't need this here. Just to show you, that goes down to 41. Now you recall from the other video that when we fill down, Excel knows that we want to move a value for each row that we go down in a computation. We're going to be taking arguments from corresponding cells that were in the above formula. Same thing works for filling across. We have here the average in column H is the average of all the values in column A. So when we copy from left to right, similarly, we're going to move those values from A here over to B, since we've moved one to the right. It's got nothing to do with these labels here. Don't be confused about that. We also need standard deviations for our z-scores, so we're going to put average and type in the function for standard deviation, and that is st, and I never remember what it is, but let's use stdev.p. It just means for a population. For our example, that doesn't really make any difference. A2 colon A41, hit return, and again fill across, and we see something interesting here. Since we covered how to create histograms in previous videos, I'm going to let you do that on your own, but I am going to show you how to calculate these z-scores. Just recall the formula. We have always an equal sign to begin any calculation in Excel. We have the raw score minus the mean score divided by the standard deviation. And that's our z-score for this first score A in cell A2 of 3. Now I have to show you something really important here. If I fill down the way I've been doing, we get division by 0. Why is that? Because Excel thinks that we want to here look at A3 minus H3. Okay, it can do that operation. It's the wrong thing, but it can do it. We want to subtract out the mean, not the standard deviation. And then it thinks we want to divide by H4, which is an empty cell. Of course, division by 0 is undefined, so that's why we get this error message here. So we have to do something else here. We have to use absolute references. In this case, we want to always make sure that we are using H2, using the value in column H, row 2, and always the value in column H for the standard deviation, which is H3. So I've changed that now. And now I'm going to fill down, and I get legitimate values. Okay. Well, you would think that I could copy this whole thing over and do the same thing again. And I get a value here. But the problem is that we're using here the mean and the standard deviation that we find in column H, because we've set H as an absolute column reference here and here. We've set H as an absolute column reference. There's a way to change that. It's not a big deal, but rather than get into that now, let's just change that to I, which is where our mean value for the B data set is. And let's change the denominator to I3, which is the value for standard deviation for our B data set. Hit return. Now we'll fill down. And there we have the z-scores for all of the B data. I think you've got a couple of questions to answer and some histograms perhaps to create, so I will leave you to it.